What is up, everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I'm still trying to make sense over what I just got done watching. And it was for the very first time, by the way. Lady in the Water! Lady in the Water is a 2006 film that's obviously written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. And wow. I thought The Village was bad. This movie, the plot is we meet Paul Giamatti, who his name is Cleveland, and he runs this apartment building, and he finds this lady, this girl, in the pool, and it's played by Bryce Dallas Howard. Her name is Story, and you see that she's not from this world. She belongs to another world, and there's a creature out there like hunting her down, and Paul Giamatti's trying to help her and keep her safe, but also trying to figure out how to get her back home. You find out through these ancient tales that there's some otherworldly stuff going on, and you also find out that there's a writer who, I guess, knows everything that's going on with the situation. And what do you know? It's played by M. Night Shyamalan himself. What the fuck? How did M. Night think that this was the right move to do after The Village? People complained about how that film had potential, but then ruined it with the twist. Now, this movie, you almost failed at the beginning. First of all, Paul Giamatti, great actor he is, and I always enjoy seeing him star in a film. He even has moments in this movie where he's acting his ass out, he's pouring his heart out, and you just go, oh dude, I wish you were in a better movie than this. But you follow him, and there's so many scenes throughout this whole movie, so many scenes of him dealing with these tenants and dealing with all of these people in the apartment buildings that you just don't give a shit about. It lingers on for all this time. The movie's over 2 hours long because it's filled with all of these scenes of Paul Giamatti talking to these people that ultimately don't lead anywhere. Look, some of these tenants are played by great actors, and you almost sigh over the thought of, wow, we casted these people just to have a couple of scenes where they don't really amount to anything, like Jeffrey Wright, for example. He's here just to be here. Jared Harris plays like a pothead guy. Really? And Freddie Rodriguez, which, by the way, whatever happened to Freddie Rodriguez? I remember seeing him in a few movies during the mid-2000s. I don't know where he is now, but they try to go for some weird-ass humor. Like, overall, I think the story is supposed to be dark and serious and scary and threatening at points. But, for example, Freddie Rodriguez, his character, his whole shtick is that he works out half of his body. So he has one arm that's really buff, and the other arm isn't. Ha, ha, ha. Is this what M. Night thinks is funny? Is this his attempt at humor and comedy? Because it does not work. Clearly, you are better at tension or suspense building. He tries to do that again in this movie, and usually he's good at it. Usually, even with The Village, you find out it's all fake, but at least there's a couple scenes that have moments. This one, I didn't give a fuck about anything. I didn't care about the people. I didn't care about this furry dog that was going around, rummaging around and trying to be scary and going after people, and I didn't care about any of that. Oh, and let's not talk about the meta moments in this movie. You even have the one character who he's an expert on books and stories and literature, so he knows all the cliches. He knows who's important to the story and who's not. Even his death scene is so telegraphed and so hitting you over the head that, hey, isn't this script smarter than what it really is? And I'm sitting there going, no, it's not. Not in the slightest. But the biggest crime, the biggest sin is M. Night himself. Because every single one of his movies, sure, has had him cameo in a small part, and it's usually a small enough part to where I haven't mentioned it in the reviews, because hey, who knows? I would probably do the same thing. I would cast myself in a small role that if you didn't know who I was, you wouldn't have known it's the director doing that small scene. This movie, he cast himself as the writer, the all-important writer who everything he writes can do these big things and control the universe, and he has this purpose. And I'm thinking, what? Maybe it's not M. Night's fault, though, right? Maybe it's not. Maybe it's that Time magazine article that had him on the cover at this time, or I think a couple years before that, and it said, "The next Steven Spielberg." It didn't have a question mark. It didn't even say, huh? No, it said it like it was a proclamation, like it was a declaration, like it was obvious. How does that not go to your head? How do you not become big-headed and full of yourself at that point? So look, the guy made a huge mistake, a huge error, casting himself. He's not even a good actor. I know Quentin Tarantino does this, but at least he has personality and character. M. Night is just nothing there. Delivering the lines and dialogue that he wrote himself is terrible. Every one of his scenes are cringy and awkward. Bryce Dallas Howard, who gives a good performance in the Village, comes back in this movie as Story. Like I said, she's just this weird girl who, my theory at first was that she was a mermaid. Which I know sounds silly and goofy, but it's not as bad as what she actually turns out to be. And I guess that's the twist, right? I guess the twist of the movie is that she's an angel, and she flies away back into heaven. And I'm just, oh, God. Over 2 hours, I sat here and watched this movie thinking, maybe it won't be as bad as what I've heard. Maybe it won't be worse than The Village. Maybe it won't be one of his worst movies ever. No, it is. It's in his top 2 or 3 worst films that I have seen, but I still have a whole lot more to go. I can't even say one good thing about this. All of the side characters are wasted. Paul Giamatti's wasted. Bryce Dallas Howard's wasted. And, oh, fuck this movie! Yeah, I think this film sucks, but let me know in the comments below what you think of it. Man, if you like this, God help you. Tell me why. Help me understand what the fuck you see in this shit. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later.